One day, Larry Chambers called a meeting with all his workers present. He stood amongst his people like a prophet. He explained what they needed to do if they wanted to survive as an organization in the crack business. He let them know that other drug dealers weren't going to allow them to fund their operation in peace. He immediately had 500 automatic weapons shipped from Miami. All his workers needed to learn how to operate a machine gun to continue to work for him. You know how you have to get a forklift license, right, in a factory? Well, it was sort of like that. But what's up, people? If you haven't saw part 1 of the Chambers Brothers story, go check it out now to catch up. Shout out all my subscribers for motivating me to keep making this fire. Now, we all know from part 1 that Larry was a smart businessman. Before he got into the drug game, he had close associates that were in the drug game, which he watched and studied. They would share with him their financial gains as well as their losses. He paid close attention to their losses and decided to help and give advice. They allowed him to visit their coke spots, and he studied how things were processed. And he genuinely wanted to help the associates. They weren't even bothered by the losses they were taking, but Larry saw a problem that needed to be fixed. He was super bothered. He lost sleep over it, with so many ideas running around in his head that he had to fix. One thing about Larry, he was very dedicated. He couldn't even leave a room unless a problem was solved. He's about solutions at the moment. It had to be fixed right there. Not only those associates let him visit the coke spots, but they allowed him to ride during drop-offs and pickups. He noticed lots of mistakes with the way they were transferring the drugs into the crack spots. Once he got inside the crack spots, he noticed more mistakes. He studied it about a week, and then he had a meeting with the associates pointing out the mistakes and gave them game on what they needed to do to run a successful business. So after the meeting, they put him in charge of security and gave him the funds. What a story, right? He ordered all the pickup and drop-off men to take the vehicle to a garage and had technicians install hidden compartments inside. He hired a special crew to install bulletproof windows and special front door for the trap spots. The spots had hidden compartments also. Now, getting into the game, Larry shot to the moon fast, having over 30 trap spots, 150 workers, and bringing in over $200K a week. With the spots having hidden compartments and workers communicating with walkie-talkies and using police scanners, it was off the hook. Now, the streets wasn't just watching, they was talking. And when he dropped his prices, that didn't sit right with the competitors. So they started to attack his workers, shoot them, firebombing the trap spots, and even started to call the cops. But he was going to put a stop to that once the machine guns rolled in, and he wasn't going to play fair. So the first thing he did was order some bazookas and grenades. And if you don't believe me, ask the OGs. You can't make this shit up. He even had some of his workers making bombs for him. But violence can only get you so far. Respect lasts forever. And it's all about the resources. Man, every gangster had a copper to him pocket. But the Chamber Brothers had bankers, preachers, insurance companies, credit unions, real estate companies, welfare agents, the Secretary of State, Board of Education members, doctors, lawyers, and car dealerships on payroll. Larry was well connected and had so much money rolling in. He even had cash coming in from Canada. He had crack houses in parts of Canada. His money was so long, he was able to put down a $3 million deposit on a water park to be built in Jamaica. And that was 87, so just imagine. Now, people around him was concerned about the move. They didn't even trust the guy that was going to construct the park. They wanted him to keep searching, but Larry didn't have the time for that. He just wanted it done. The guy started ignoring phone calls, and then he went MIA. Larry stayed calm like a boss should and called his private investigator and 2 of his female enforcers. They were on the next flight to Jamaica and would arrive the next day. He explained what happened, and they got right on the job. He flew back to Detroit without a care for the $3 million. He just wanted the guy dealt with. A week later, he got a phone call. Touchdown. The job was done. And the job was done brutal. Let's just say they turned one person into a puzzle. Now, in part 1, we talked about the rules and how much you would get fined if you broke them. We ain't talk about the violence behind it. One of the workers was selling plaster chips instead of crack. He was caught, and let's just say hands, feet, a 2x4, and a lamp was put on him by Larry and his enforcers, and hot grease was poured on him. He recruited high schoolers, and if they broke the rules or came up short, they were beaten and fired. In part 3, we'll talk about the kids that worked in the organization. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. If you already subscribed, unsubscribe and subscribe again. Psych, no, I'm talking shit. I'll see y'all in part 3. And turn the notifications on. I'm out.